Hello friends and welcome back for another episode of Indie Impressions. My name is Nick and today we're going to be checking out Permutation Racer. This is sort of a prototype preview version of the game. It's essentially a procedurally generated racing game with some sci-fi futuristic tendencies. It reminds me a little bit of Race the Sun. This is actually by developer Big Robot, the same people who brought us Sir You Are Being Hunted, and it has an outstanding soundtrack, I have to say. It's even though a little bit of just a prototype, it's not really going to be a fully fleshed out game as far as I know, but it is totally free and definitely something I think you guys are going to want to check out. I played about 5 minutes of this, did one game, one run through, and found it surprisingly easy to get into. I'm going to be playing with the 360 controller today, and we will be checking out the help mode real quick just to see if there's anything we need to go over. I think it's pretty straightforward, though. So we're going to be racing against the clock through a procedurally generated world. We're going to pass hex gates to increase the time limit, collect gems to fill the charge bar, then press boost. For a short boost of speed, or burst of speed, jump to avoid barriers, and glitch bombs, press self-destruct to escape dead ends. And then there's the default keys. Again, we're using 360 controllers, so it's basically just going to be triggers, A to jump, X to self-destruct, I believe, and B for boost, which is actually pretty self-explanatory. I suppose X, like, you know, cross, like, dead, and B for boost. So anyway, let's try a run out, see how it goes. I think you'll be pretty pleasantly surprised with this one, especially for a free game. It both looks and sounds quite nice. So here we go. First things first, we gotta remember we have to jump whenever we see these orbs suspended off the ground. We definitely need to jump up and grab those. This is a surprisingly wide open map. I think all the ones I've seen were sort of up against a cliff face. But the cool thing about this game being procedurally generated is you're actually going to see a pretty nice transition from one landscape type to the next. It's got fairly minimalistic graphics. Things aren't too flashy, but I think it actually is better served for that. The way that the design is, it sort of emphasizes just the points that you really need to pay attention to, but then, you know, emphasizes it really well with the fact that we've got these beautiful gradiating colors and things changing in and out. Almost just crashed straight into that wall, didn't go that well. And honestly, the controls are really nice. I've had a little bit of maybe slipperiness to them. Oh, those are glitch bombs. I didn't know if those are power-ups or what. I guess I should have kind of figured that out. Oh. Alright, so it just sort of came to a bit of a stop there. I'm not sure if just hitting a wall straight out is going to kill you, or if it's just going to slow you down. I haven't actually crashed yet. Oh, did I fail or did I win? Alright, let's do a boost. Oh, that was a little awkward. So we fell into a bit of a crevasse there. We've got to kind of pay attention to that sort of thing. Because when we run into crevasses, we're basically just going to be killing our own chances of succeeding because it makes us far too slow. And, oh, yeah, that would be a fail. Alright, so I didn't do very well there. Distance traveled 745 units of measurement, whatever that may be. My previous run was like, what was it, 1179. So I've got to beat that score before I'm going to be happy to give up on this one. Surprisingly addictive, and I think a lot of the addiction from this comes from, you know, both the controls feeling pretty nice, the gameplay being fairly simple, the soundtrack being rather immersive, and of course just sort of wanting to see where the gameplay takes us in terms of these procedural landscapes. I think there's a lot of room for a game like this out there in that I think there's sort of a hole missing in the concept of like a really, really nice polished sort of F-Zero style game. I mean, yeah, there have been a couple, but I just feel like there's still a nice opportunity for something to come along that really does that perfectly well. I mean, the light cycle type games are just, I don't know, there's something about them. They seem very appealing to me, and I think quite a few people as well, especially given the success of games like Wipeout. Granted, this is not really a multiplayer game, this is mostly just a single-player time trial style thing to see how well you can do versus your own times, but I think a lot of the time that really is enough to keep people playing. I mean, sometimes it might be that you might need to just have some sort of a little bit of an artificial goal, maybe unlock new ship types or some sort of aesthetic modifications to keep people interested in going on further and trying to push themselves past boundaries that they might be sort of apprehensive to approach. For me, I tend to not have that much of a problem with wanting to beat my own high scores, but I also get kind of competitive about that. Best thing you can do for me, just show me some of my friends' scores in the leaderboards, and I'll probably want to go against them anyway. Alright, there we go. Okay, we made it, barely. The graphics get pretty wild when we run into that turbo mode. It gets that chromatic aberration technique that I've seen so many games use, and it's quite pretty. And it's actually not so distracting for once that it makes the game difficult to play, which is something I kind of appreciate. But it definitely does convey a sense of speed. Alright, we made it exactly 1,000 that time. Let's do one more run here. I feel like I can do better. I just need a good run of hitting the boost at the right time, I think. It's funny that I've started out on these open plains each time. The one time that I did the run before we started, I actually saw it was just starting up in a cavern, which is kind of neat. I can imagine all these other ways that this could be modified, adding like a dark section of it where maybe you have to use your headlight to be able to see far ahead of you, or perhaps there could be like sections that sort of branch off into different places that maybe you wouldn't expect to have to go. Of course, you could get into all the loop-de-loops and crazy techniques and things as well, but I think even just sort of being a rudimentary, fairly straightforward game like this, with just the jumps and boosts, might serve it even better, keeping it sort of uncomplicated. Alright, gotta keep boosting. Whoa! Can't believe I actually survived that. That was pretty wild. I also could see some... Ooh, I actually went right off the map that time. I could see some sort of speedrunner potential to this, where there could be maybe some other more optimized routes. Although I guess when you're trying to procedurally generate maps, that could be a little bit difficult, but it would be kind of cool to be able to just surf along the top of all these rocks for a little while. Maybe if you get a single bonus that would allow you to jump extra high. Oh, look at this, the landscape's all fractured and broken apart. It's also sort of reminding me of that one racing game that now I'm totally spacing on the name of, where everything was just completely neon and wild. And that one, basically, the big thing was everything was dynamic. And there was all these things that were happening, you know, traps and things that were rotating and changing in front of you. And when you're actually focusing really hard on a game like this, you have this sort of a small ship. It becomes a little bit easier to envision getting through some pretty impossible-looking challenges. I think I'm about to lose again. Oh, I just barely made it on that one. Oh, it actually shouts out what your next area is going to be on the bottom, too. I kind of wasn't really looking at the UI. Mesa to Canyon. That's kind of cool that it actually has sort of defined biomes in a way. I'm not going to make it, am I? No, I just barely did again. Alright, let's get our points up. There haven't been a lot of gems here, unfortunately. I go a little bit faster. I'm hitting the boost button over and over again, but I'm just a little bit short of it. There we go. Oh, I missed that jewel. No way am I going to make it to this one. I need to hit basically every single gem to make it across the whole thing. But that was my high score, so I feel pretty confident and pretty happy about that. 14-18. I'm sure I could do better, given enough practice and time, but, you know, I feel okay about that one. So yeah, go check this one out, Permutation Racer. It's a lot of fun, totally free, and is actually available for both Mac and Windows, so if you want to try it out, link's going to be right in the description. Feel free to let me know what your high scores are and what you think about this, if you think it has potentially to be developed further, or if you like it just the way it is. Keep things nice and simple. I'd love to hear from you in the comments, and of course, feel free to check out some of my other information, like my social media sites, my Twitter, my Facebook, my Twitch page, and of course, indie-impressions.com, my website where I store all of the episodes from this series, and they're all sortable and categorized for you. So yeah, let me know if there's anything cool you find over there. Let me know your opinions about the game, and be sure to come back again tomorrow, because new episodes of Indie Impressions go up every single day and have been for over 600 consecutive days. We're actually running up close to the 2-year mark in the next couple of months, so that's going to be pretty exciting. And thank you for being along for the ride, whether you're new or old to the series. Either way, you are welcome here. So thank you again. Hope to see you back again tomorrow, and I hope you have a lovely night. Talk to you later.